Yes.
Thank you.
Everybody, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Hello, everybody.
I'd like to say good in general, just good. Welcome, welcome. Wow, we have all the globe here.
Yes.
Amazing. Amazing, amazing. So please share with us, where are you from, guys? Some of you we know. Some of you are...
We know Marina for sure.
Yeah.
And Christina. Okay, Eric from Boca Raton, Florida. Hi, Eric.
Hi, Thomasine, how are you, my dear? Good to see you, Walter. Javier, my friend, hola. And Rolf, and Rafael, and Pascal, bonjour, ¿Cómo ça va, Pascal? Danuta, I don't know Polish, sorry. I'm not a 𝐍𝐄𝐲𝐸𝐒 yet, I can't speak 80 languages.
Hi, Mark Conlon, UK.
Yeah, Mark Conlon.
UK and Ireland from
And
Dublin,
Ireland,
obviously,
sorry.
And Yaroslava is here with us, and Pepe, Marion, Belen is
Rafael from Mexico.
Wow, amazing, amazing to see you. Javier from Spain.
Javier in Belen.
And Boca Raton, Florida, and Danuta from Poland, and Southwest England for Thomasine, and Mexico. Wow. I think we should wait a minute or two for those who didn't join yet, for them to join. And we have Ophir from Israel. Hi, Ophir. And Nir from the Ripple Flow. Where are you from, Nir? Nir.
Okay.
Okay.
Marion, Cindy, France, Ecuador.
We still have people joining, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Andy.
Hi.
Welcome. Okay, I think we shall start, shall we? What do you say? I think so. So, again, good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to our ongoing webinar series. And it's a real pleasure to have you all with us today. I am Sarah, for those who don't know me. I'm the CEO of News Navigation. And today, actually, we're going to continue the fascinating discussion around parallel intelligence, where human wisdom meets the vast capabilities of the artificial intelligence and drive growth to scale. We really accelerate things with this combination. For those of you who might be joining us for the first time, so 10 seconds about news navigation. So it's much more than a methodology. It's a compass for individuals, teams, organizations to navigate themselves in times of change, in times of turbulence, and just to find their direction and unlock their authentic greatness. Our mission is really to help organizations grow and accelerate in times which the uncertain and the unknown it's the constant reality, through 12 awards-winning solutions delivered in over 45 countries, and we have certified over 1,000 trainers to touch lives of over millions all over the globe. So today we want to dive into our case study, and for this occasion I'm so honored to welcome Jody Richards. Say hi, Jody.
Hello, so nice to see everybody.
So Jody is the co-CEO of Process Technology, and she's here to share with us her real-world experience with the process with Aviad that they made, Process Technology. Of course, Aviad Ghos, the founder of News Navigation and the creator of the News Compass. Say hi, Aviad. Nobody knows you here. And he's a global pioneer in the personal and organizational development. And the amazing 𝐂𝐨𝐻𝐻𝐿, of course, the CEO and founder of 𝐂𝐨𝐻𝐻𝐴I, which is the fascinating technology behind Aviad Ghos AI coaching.
Hi, great to see everybody.
Say hi.
Hi, great to see you
Welcome,
all.
Jody, Aviad, and Mark. It's a real pleasure to have you all here. So to kick off things, Aviad, I'd like to hand it over to you. Could you walk us through the unique process you led with Process Technology and the remarkable results that were achieved?
Okay, everyone. It's nice to be here. I see people from like 15 countries. This is great. And very happy to see Jody here with us and Mark. And so today is dedicated to a real case study that we are still in the ongoing development of it, but there are already results which, at least for me, are almost stunning and surprising of accelerating organizational change in a way that I did not see for 40 years throughout many organizations I worked with. So let me share with you something we prepared especially for today. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes, Aviad, we can.
Okay. So Jody will tell us later more about herself and her company, Process Technology. I met them first time only in November, which is not long ago. It's like, yeah, almost half a year ago, but this was the first meeting. The title of what happened is How a Divided Leadership Team Became a Growth Engine. What you're going to see, we consider as a global breakthrough because Jody and Sid, which own the company and run the company, they were the very early adapters, courageous enough to walk into a completely new world that we discovered together. So Process Technology is a mid-sized, in American terms, industrial technology company, and Jody will tell us more about it, based out of Cleveland and New York, and one more site, but around that area. And what you're going to hear, mainly from Jody later, is a real client journey. So the first thing for those who don't know, which I think most of you do know, but just to make sure, the whole concept, the whole work that we did is based on news organizational navigation, which is based on the News Compass. The News Compass I designed, created 21 years ago, and it's basically a universal tool to allow navigation, growth in 4 dimensions. The North stands for where do we go from here? The East works on the why, the West works on the how should we get there, and the South is all about the why nots and how do we break through them. It's very structured processes, we have many solutions, but this one here is organizational navigation. And the second player in this movement and change that we did is what Marga created, and Mark will tell us more about it later. It's the Aviad Ghos AI Coach, where we use organizational strategy and culture as a live context for coaching conversations, alignment, and cascading in organizations. Okay? It's a very new development. For those who know it a bit, it's unlike any other AIs like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. It was trained and developed as a real coach. So we used those two together, okay? The navigation process and the AI coach to support it. So actually what we did is we combined human and AI in a process that we call now parallel intelligence. So you have a human navigator, which brings the big picture, the creativity, and helps to set the strategy and goals. And you have an AI coach that guides the people following the process. Each time they're in a crossroad, each time they need to make a decision, act, but at scale. Everyone moves together faster. So here is the case study. What was the challenge? So process technology grew quite fast, and some of the growth was via mergers and acquisitions. This resulted in very nice growth. At the same time, there was conflict and tension in the management team, where some people are more veteran, some are new ones, some joined from other organizations. And the result was some good degree of tension in the leadership team. Operations were a bit slow. And generally, when I met them in November, their morale was not very high. I met only the leadership team. But in the first discussions, it was very clear that this company has a huge potential, and yet the morale was not very high. And I think the most significant thing was that there was no shared sense of direction for the future. There were different views, but there was not one clear direction. So what we did a three-phase intervention, if you like. The first was organizational navigation, which I'll speak about in a moment. It's a 2 days leadership intensive. Then there was an AI coach deployment to the leadership team. So each one got an AI coach. And they got also individual assignments to do with it. I will explain later why. And we ran a monthly checkpoint to see how they're doing with it for accountability. So what are the components? The first component is the navigation process. It's when a senior leadership comes together to navigate and create the next phase together. What we do, we just take them through the process. It's very structured in clear frames, but the most important part is that the leadership team creates their future direction and the next phase with a compass. Now, we believe that because they create it, they own it. And when they own something that they created, there is a much better chance that they will actually employ, and really make it real. So this was stage one. Stage two, everyone got the AI coach. Now, what we did here for the first time ever, we took the results of the navigation process, 4 directions, and we uploaded it on the AI coach and created a unique version of the AI coach for process technology. So what happens then is that every conversation that people have with the AI coach, yes, it is done by the way of news and with the methodology, but there's also the unique content of the organization. So people are coached in context. which is unique, okay? Never happened before. And to make sure that they actually work with it, we gave each time the leaders specific assignments to do with the AI coach, either with their team or with themselves or with their peers. And what was interesting was to meet them once a month, hear from them how it was going, give them some more assignments, and practical guidance how to continue. So this is phase 2. Phase 3 is accountability, these monthly checkpoints, real-world assignments with AI, so people don't just play with it or just neglect it completely. And so leaders apply their coaching in live work situations. I can say something interesting. In the first time we met after a month, there were 2 people that used it a lot from the team, 2 people that used it a bit, and 2 people that didn't use it. Now, what was astonishing, really, for me, is that the 2 people who used it a lot really flew forward with their teams, like in unprecedented way. The 2 that used it a bit were doing well, and the 2 that did not use it at all remained in the same place. So this was like an unintended retrospective study that showed that people that used it actually got accelerated with their teams, which was fascinating. 3 months passed, and what are the results? So this is February, only a month and a half ago. We looked at the results after 3 months. Remember, 3 months in an organizational life is like a blink of an eye. It's nothing. We used to work, and Mark knows this, with organizations for 4 or 5 years to get results like this. So what happened here is, first of all, the management culture went through a transformation and shift. So this group that was tensed, kind of blaming and finger pointing and so on and argumentative, became very cooperative, positive and aligned. And they also reported after 3 months that the teams that they are working with became more engaged and even excited. So the first result is on the human cultural level. And, to get a change like this in 3 months, usually you need to do by a shock or trauma, because to do it constructively in 3 months is unheard of. The second result is also unheard of, and we don't take full credit for it at all. But within 3 months, there was a growth of 50% year over year in bookings, meaning in sales for the coming year. And this is not a startup. This can happen in a startup that is just growing. This happened in a company which is 40 years old, which is amazing. I mean, it's almost like science fiction. You never have anything of this sort. And again, I don't think this was the only factor, the AI and the navigation, but I think it played some role. So 50% growth year over year within 3 months. Okay. And the last result that we could see is that there was a better alignment and cascading of strategy in the organizations. Teams and individuals became more familiar with where the organization is heading and what is important in the organization, and they could begin to translate it to their daily decisions and activities. We call it line of sight. Line of sight is when people on the ship, let's say, understand where it's going to and what is their part in it, which we know by studies that usually creates much better performance the moment people understand their role in the bigger picture of where things are going to. So where is process technology now? So this is the last I heard from them. which was in February, 20 additional managers enrolled to the AI coach. So like the next 2 levels of management were enrolled with the AI coach in the specific version of process technology, meaning, and every time we did a checkpoint, we also updated it into the AI, so it kept in context. Sales continued to grow, and there was further alignment down the organizational levels. What's next? Where are we going next with process technology? So in 2 weeks, I'm going to meet the leadership team and the mid-management to go through a more leadership development kind of training beyond the AI and the working with AI. We are going to continue to do once a month AI reviews, and also we added some leadership training on a monthly basis. And we're going to go on with the navigation checkpoints, which we do every quarter, where we have champions that complete the yearly process. So everything you saw happened within 3 months. The whole process is for a whole year. And as far as I know, and I worked with individually with 2,200 organizations in my life, this, to my knowledge, never happened so fast. Maybe in very young organizations when they really start. So what we believe at the moment, that the moment people align, focus on the same direction, both business and human, something very powerful is being released. It was there before. It's a potential. But to make this potential actually come through, you need a much more aligned and focused view. So just to end my part here, what we understand now, and we see it also in other cases, that the work with this navigation and AI, the parallel intelligence, same system, it actually accelerates organizations. So human plus AI used correctly creates like a genius synergy. The human part in the navigation is co-creative, imaginative, and leading deep discussions. The AI coach is doing what it is best in, which is always present, accessible, scalable, perfect memory, consistency, safe, upskilling, aligning, no bias, no judgment, and then human follow-up and even oversight so that the usage with the AI is responsible and in context and that people are accountable. So for me, this journey was really surprising. And I will stop sharing here. And thank you, Sarah, for inviting me to speak here.
Thank you, Aviad. Those results are really, truly extraordinary. And thank you for sharing. Jody, hi.
Hello.
We would be happy if you could bring you to the conversation now, and if you could briefly introduce process technology to us, and then share your personal and team experience of going through this transformation from the inside.
Okay. So process technology, Aviad said it's a 40-year-old company. I'll actually say it's 48 years this year, so almost 50 years old. And my father started the company. I never actually worked with my father. He had somebody running it in between the time that he left and I started. But it's a family business, but the only family that's working in it are my husband and I. We are the only two in the company. And I think when I first joined the company, I spent a lot of time cleaning everything up. And then at some point, I met my husband. He was working somewhere else. Eventually, I convinced him to come work with me. It made our life so much better. But I had been spending a lot of time cleaning up a lot of tactical things, and our backgrounds are different, product marketing. And so then we started looking at where can we go? And we made a plan that we are going to do growth, year-on-year double-digit growth. That was the beginning of the motto. And that was about a few years before COVID. Then, of course, COVID hit, and then things went really crazy. We make thermal platforms and power platforms that are sold into semiconductor. And everyone knows that the semiconductor business has gone a little bit crazy since COVID. Everybody wants their own device. It used to be that, people had one computer in the house that they shared or one iPad that they shared, and now everybody has their own device. So anyway, business had started to grow, and then it was after that, that was the start of it, but we weren't growing that much. But now that we've gone through this process, there's also been this huge amount of sales growth, independent of what we had been doing before. And from the process, so I think, what Aviad said, yes, when we first met him in November, everybody was kind of in their little own camp, and they were staying there, and we went through the navigation process. And I think it was also a great team building activity. We're based in Cleveland. Our headquarters are in the Cleveland area, but we went to an offsite, and we chose to go to New York because we had acquired the company in New York a year before, earlier. So we thought we'll have the leadership offsite in New York, and we'll also have access to the New York company. And it was good because everybody was out of their normal element. They weren't going home to take care of whatever they needed to do at home. We could spend time together as a team. We could go out to dinner as a team. And I think that there was some team building in that. And I think there was a lot of realization that came going through the navigation about who we are and where we want to go, and everybody getting aligned. Everybody started pointing in the same direction, heading for the same north, and then we're all very clear on what that north is. So then I don't know, talk about the coach now, or you want me to hold off on that a little bit?
Please.
Okay, so the crazy thing is, then you get this coach, and the coach is amazing. So if you've all heard Aviad talk here, when you get the coach, and I'm talking about, normally I don't play anything. The coach can actually talk to you, and it does sound just like Aviad. It's a little bit freaky, but I don't normally play it. I just read what it says, and it's even freakier because you're oh my gosh, it's exactly the way he talks. So it's super cool. And personally, I don't use it as much as I should, but I definitely, when I have something that is a big topic I want to talk about, and it's not even necessarily in a meeting, but my husband and I have a lot of strategic talks at home about different things that we're doing or people or things like this. And I'll put it into the AI and get some feedback, because it's Avia just presented that it's neutral, doesn't have an opinion one way or another. And the other thing is, it's not like Copilot or ChatGPT where you're asking oh, give me an itinerary for XYZ, and it prints you out something. This is true coaching. It's a back and forth. We're prompting you to think about the next thing, just like a real coach would. And that's why part of the reason I just think it's so awesome. If you use it, it can just really make you have the most successful meeting or the most successful interaction, because you are really having thought through everything on multiple levels, not just like I said earlier, something from ChatGPT where it says do XYZ. It's really giving this back and forth, taking you through things, making you think about it, evaluating it at different levels, and giving you even recommendations for frameworks to approach the discussion or things like that. So I cannot say enough about how awesome I think it is.
Thank you, Jody. Thank you so much. And thank
Sarah,
you.
may I ask Jody how it was for her team? Because there's like 7 more people engaged for a few months, and then 20 more engaged. And so I'm just interested to hear that.
So it's interesting. So out of the leadership team that started, I know there are a couple people who use it a lot. And one of them, like, she's always like, oh yeah, whatever, whatever. For the extended leadership team, I don't see them as often. I don't necessarily interface with a lot of them, but I know one of them who she reports to me, she says things like, oh yeah, I have to have like this conversation or that conversation, and I'm, asking, how do I get this? How can I get this person to get on board with this without pissing them off, right? So it's I know people are using it. I don't know how many people are using it, but the people who are using it find it extremely helpful. They are doing similar things to what I'm doing, like getting advice and figuring out how to best approach something to get the desired outcome. And if you can get that desired outcome, then it's such a huge win. And actually, like, if you have to think it through and you can think about all the ways that things can go sideways, it just makes it so much easier to actually have a successful interaction.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jody.
Thank you, Jody. So thank you for sharing with us this and so openly and honestly. And I would like to open at this point the discussion with the entire panel, which is Jody, Aviad, and Mark, of course, to a broader discussion around the future, the past, current, and future of AI. And we have prepared 3 questions for the panel to answer. And I would like first to ask, I'll give ladies first, maybe. So our first question to the panel is regarding the past. What challenges arise when organizations grow too quickly?
So I don't know if there's anything like that is true about growing too quickly. I think everyone wants to grow too quickly, right? But it does present a lot of challenges. Like, so first of all, when you go from one size company to another size company, every process you have is broken. Like, it will break because when you're like a $10 million company versus a $500 million company, those processes at 10 million can't support the $500 million, right? So it is and then there's a lot of work that has to go behind that, getting the processes correct. And if you don't get the processes correct in a very short period of time, what ends up happening is everybody ends up fighting and blaming each other. And I think that this is one of the, like, Aviad said that when we first met with him, that we were, I mean, he didn't say the word dysfunctional, but it was like people were kind of in their own camps and they weren't cooperating. And I think that as you start to go through the process, and also as you, like, just like when you're growing and if you spend the time to create something together and agree that this is the way we're going, that this is how we're going to move forward, then that sets that alignment in place, and you can make sure that it helps to make sure that people are all agreeing how we're going to move forward, and that it helps to get all the processes set up so that people have their, standard work and their way of doing it, and it's not a mishmash.
Thank you. Aviad?
Okay, so I did work with companies. I also think the word too fast, like the two, is a bit strange, but I worked with a lot of companies who grew fast. Usually it's startups and not so much companies who are 48 years old. But you can see a thread between all of them. They actually suffer from what I will call a growth pains. Like when you are a teenager and you suddenly grow and all your joints ache and, everything is stretching. So what I see happens when you grow really fast, and again, the question is organically or by mergers and acquisitions, which is 2 different ways to grow. But first of all, some people grow with the company and some people do not manage to grow beyond a certain level. So if someone was managing 5 people and now he needs to manage 50 people, some people manage to do this jump, some do not. So you have suddenly some people who are kept in the back, or they don't manage to grow as fast. Second thing Jody said, processes are broken. Because when you grow fast, you need to fix the processes as you move. It's like you are in a fast moving ship and you need to repair it all the time whilst you move, which is very, very demanding. I would say that the level of complexity grows. We have here Andy with us from Germany, who is doing a lot of transformation work with organizations in different levels of complexities. The complexity of the organization grows dramatically, definitely from a small family company into this mid-size and even larger organization. You experience some detachment as a leadership from the front row, from the field, because it became more complex. And actually, I believe that a time like this, when companies grow really fast, actually has a lot of risk for the company, because I know companies that don't handle it well, and whilst enjoying very fast growth, actually get broken on the way. Okay, so it's a great time, and it's also a risky time when you grow really fast. Thank you.
Thank you, Aviad. Mark, we're so lucky to have you here with your extensive experience in growing companies. So please share with us.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'm listening to Jody, and I'm so inspired. For the audience that don't know Jody, and we are friends, her company is amazing. It was amazing. The way she and Sid manages, it's outstanding. And then to hear her saying, look, but we didn't like what we have. We wanted more. This is amazing. Like, this company would continue to be successful for the next 100 years without any external work. And it's so inspiring, Jody, to see you saying, no, I actually want more. I want better and higher growth. And I know, of course, Aviad's talent in helping companies grow. And I would like to connect it to AI. You know, I build AI companies, but I'm a big fan of coaching. And I think that when you grow fast, and I did it 5 or 6 times, one thing people don't realize, you don't have time to speak with each and every employee, even the executive team. You don't have time as a CEO to put a real attention that they require. So you work with external coaches that bring this expertise. And I work with Aviad like in a few companies, and they did an amazing job. But there is one problem, because he came, we did this amazing workshop, and then he left. And then next time a meeting is in a quarter from now. And meanwhile, you know, life happens. So I probably will talk more about it, but I can see what happened here, because it's not only there was a good and amazing coaching session and like a navigation session that Aviad knows how to do, but the continuity, I think, is very important. And it was a big issue in the past when you wanted to grow companies fast. How you keep the daily cadence of accountability, of working, etc. And here I see a great example how it happens in reality. So thank you, Jerry. This is amazing. And thank you, Aviad.
Thank you. So let's go to our next question, which is all about the present. If you could share with us what is unique about the process you have experienced so far. We'll go in the same order, maybe.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. So first of all, Mark, thank you so much for the compliments. That is so kind of you. And actually Mark kind of like, I think for me, touched on what's unique, and I hadn't thought of it in the way that he said it, that, you know, like when he used Aviad in person before there was an AI, that he would meet him like once a quarter, and the team would meet once a quarter. And like you think about the gap between there, and like you don't have that constant attention or focus. And like the thing that I think is so amazing about this process is like you can have the Aviad Goes AI on your computer, or you can have it on your mobile phone. And like literally you can, anytime you need some advice, Like, you want to figure out how to handle a situation, it's right there in your pocket. And that being able to have some kind of check-in, like whenever you need it. Like, I mean, poor Avia, he was taking calls 24 hours a day. Like, it just wouldn't be possible. But like, he really can now with the AI. It's just, it's so helpful to just, and it's such a nice, like, I mean, for lack of a better word, security blanket to know that like you can go anytime and, get some coaching on whatever you want to do, or whatever help, whatever problem you have, whatever difficulty you think you're facing. And, you might find out it's really not a difficulty. But every time I have gone to Aviad, he's given me great advice on like how to think about things and how to structure it, or how to structure the conversation so that I get the optimal outcome that I want.
Thank you, Jody. Aviad.
Okay, so for me, this process was kind of exploration and revelation, because although I'm pretty mature in age, I've never done this before. This was like going into uncharted waters. And again, I thank Jody and 𝐂𝐶 for being brave and being the first company to jump into this kind of almost experiment. So I think what was very unique, and again, I think you need to be, even to run a navigation with someone else except yourself as a leader, takes some good courage. But then to jump into an experiment of doing navigation and AI, and first time in the world, is amazing. So for me, what was unique was this combination of the human and the AI, because I've done navigations before, hundreds of times, in many cases and situations. And as Mark said, the follow-up after that was the issue. We have champions, we have strategic drivers, we have quarterly meetings, but that's completely unlike having a coach in your pocket 24/7, whether you speak with it once a day or once in a week, whenever you want. So I think, the world is dealing a lot with the question, human or AI, how many people will lose their jobs. And I think what we are charting here is the whole territory of human and AI together. Okay, how can this combination work well? And what we see is that the result is acceleration. So I believe that everyone that uses AI in any field knows it accelerates them in everything. But here we manage to accelerate an organization. Remember, this is a group of people coming together. They are from different backgrounds. They sit in different sites in the US. They are actually a global company. And then you manage to combine them and release from them a genuine kind of growth. Because imagine that, as Jody said, you consult with the AI before you go to a meeting, important meeting. And then if you are clever, when you come back, you tell the AI, coach the results. So it's always present. It can reskill you. It can give you feedback. So I believe that people who use it get really accelerated. Because even in the past, if you had a coach once a week, which is a lot, it's not like 24/7. So I see that people who use it, either in small businesses or in this case in a larger organization, are really being accelerated. Now, for me, the last thing I'll say, what was unique here is the ability to accelerate a group of people together, not individually. And I think this is the result of navigation with the people and the AI coach and the supervision after that. I think, again, what you're hearing here is a first of its kind in the world. And this is not something you can say many times in your life. Okay? It took me 70 years to say this. This is the first of its kind. And wow, it's working. Where else can it go?
Thank you, Aviad. Mark.
So yeah, in this process, I was mainly jealous because I provided the platform, the technology, but not the coaching itself. So first of all, I definitely will do it for my company as well, and I I think everybody should do it. But it was amazing to witness it. I have to say that I did have expectations, but it was beyond my expectations. Because Jody's company was great and successful, and like it's much more difficult to take something that is successful to make it more successful. And B, because I did work with Aviad, and I know that this work produces outstanding results, but it takes time. Like to see it in 1 or 2 quarters, it was surprising. So I was jealous and surprising. That's my experience. And surprised. That's my experience.
Thank you,
Good
Mark.
jealous. Good jealous.
We share the jealousy. It's okay. And now let's look at the future. Where do you think human and AI parallel intelligence are heading, and where is it taking us as organizations, humanity?
Maybe
Okay,
here,
well,
Mark will, maybe,
Mark
okay,
will
Jody.
start, yes.
Maybe Mark will start. He's the
Maybe
expert.
Mark will start because this is
his baby.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And thank you very much. And so I would like to start with the end. Like my strong belief, and most of the companies I've built in the past, like the first internet service provider in the region, and the first company that allowed computers to speak with each other using computers, etc., and the first internet satellite company. I think what I found is it usually scares people. Like when print was created, it scared people because that said that's the end of human memory. Or when telephone was created, they said that that's it. People will not meet each other. But eventually, the future is surprising and it's good. So first of all, I would like to give a spoiler. I am very optimistic. Now, I will tell you why, especially in the area we're talking about. And as I said, I'm a big fan of human coaching. So I do understand how AI works. I do understand the mathematics. And I think everybody says that to see AI creating a real human feelings, uh, empathy, heart, and warmth. I don't want to say soul because there are many definitions for soul. Is a very far dream. AI can fake it, but it cannot make it. That's why we found, and there is a lot of research about it. There is a big article about it in one of the newspapers. I'm covering Aviad and the work is that we always need what we call man or woman in the middle. We always need a real coach. And I think the future belongs to what Aviad calls a parallel intelligence, where we take a real person, we understand what are the traits of a real person. This real person guides AI, coaches AI. I think Aviad can tell you that he spends a lot of time. I think he enjoys it, but he spends a lot of time training and coaching this AI and making sure that AI is up to date with everything that Aviad goes through. So bottom line, I do believe in very close coexistence between humans and AI, where everybody brings their own advantages. People bring their empathy, understanding, and being humans, and AI brings this ability to remember everything, to do it at scale, etc. And they cover on each other's weaknesses, um, which is sometimes a little bit scary. So I think that we need a third part, and luckily we've proved when internet started we can do it. I'm talking about cybersecurity in the internet world. I'm talking about AI security in the AI world, but a combination of human AI and good security that will make sure that the coordination is done right will create beautiful, beautiful future that we can't even imagine right now. Maybe Jody can imagine because she was the one to try it, Aviad. But I think that's such a beautiful future ahead of us.
Thank you. Jody, please.
So I really, this was such a great experience that we've had so far. And I really see I I think there's so many opportunities for, you know, like one of the things like
Is it my internet? No.
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 I want to use AI at work. Sorry, did I cut out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
A little bit.
So I was saying like we're bringing a lot of AI into work in general, but it's to improve the quality of work we're doing, trying to get rid of like the very boring transactional things like where you're pressing a button 20 times, right? I don't want people doing that. I want people to think and enjoy what they're doing. And so I see the future as a combo between AI and humans. And I think that this 𝐂𝐨𝐻𝐸 experiment, which is an amazing experience, is the future of how we can do many things. And it's such a great path forward in this combination where you have the actual human, but then you have the backup. You have the 𝐂𝐨𝐻 in your pocket. It's really a great path to imagine how you can be much more productive and much more like faster. And everybody wants to move forward quickly, right?
Indeed, I totally agree. Aviad.
Thank you. So I think humanity is now really engaged with this question. So there is the one view which is human or AI, which is based basically on fear and scarcity. But I really look at human and AI, okay? I believe, well, there are many possibilities where things will go, but I think the best version of reality in the future is there will be an integration and synergy between human capabilities and AI capabilities, which are different. And I think human will always bring in the humanity, the morality, if you want, the creativity, the new, the things that are not there yet, the imagination, the warmth, the companionship. And I think the AI used correctly can bring amazing acceleration. And imagine just that in medicine, there will be acceleration in the next 3 to 5 years, which wasn't achieved for years. Or in solving deep human problems, there will be an acceleration. But I think like everything else, even this pen that I'm holding, everything can be used for the better or the worse. It depends who is using it and for which purpose. So I think the better part is that humanity can accelerate and AI can take all the manual, boring, if you like, work and release people to their greatness, release people to create, to even enjoy, to live better. If it's used for worse purposes, we will see more fraud, more wars, all kinds. So it depends on us always, as humans, what we use it for. What I see in the best case is what is called in biology co-evolution. You know, it's like when a flower and an insect or butterfly co-evolve to suit each other's needs, and they become very specialized. And together, like in synergy, they celebrate the differences and become much more and much better. So I believe that responsible usage of AI, and especially AI beyond just answering questions, but all the more creative AIs, which already are there, will create a co-evolution if used responsibly. So I think human evolution will accelerate, organizational evolution for sure, if used correctly. And I think the AI evolves at the same time. It's almost like we got wings to fly with. We just need to fly well and not too close to the sun where our wings will melt and we will come down.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just want to say, well, maybe one last thing, the AI already impacts a lot of what we do, because now even in training programs and everything, we bring it in the AI. Before the process, in the process, after the process. As an example, we created about 1,000 coaches over the years by yearly programs, which were very intense. Now we do it in a much shorter time. People work with the AI because it also skills coaches very well. And it puts a very high bar for human coaching to actually come to. So now it's part of even training people to become better coaches much, much faster, which we launch, I think, next month. But everything is accelerated in that. Thank you, Jody.
Thank you. Thank you, panel, for those amazing and fascinating insights. And now we would like to open the mic to questions to you participants. Any questions? We would love to hear them. And please, one at a time, please.
Okay. Can I?
Please.
I want to ask Jody. We are talking here about cultural transformation, and we know that cultural transformation it takes a long time in the oldest process. And I want to hear about you how you would describe your culture before the process and now after only 3 months after the process. What, in one word, if it's possible, what did you see in your culture, in your company?
So one word is very hard, but how about two? Forward progress. Did you hear me or not? I don't know what's wrong with my
You
internet.
were
So I
frozen.
said forward progress, 2 words. I think that, it really started with the leadership team, but I see things like definitely moving in what I would call the right direction to getting to where we want to go.
Great, thank you.
So just to say, Regina is from Brazil, Rise Brazil. She works with news in Brazil. And she wondered also what was the culture before. So now it's fast progress. And how would you call the previous cultural state, if you like?
Aligned.
Sorry.
People were not aligned. There was a lot of disarray. And I think that that is like really what the situation was prior to going through the navigation. I think now, like having the North and having the coach, that's made a big difference.
Thank you. Andy, please.
Jody, I have a question.
Just to introduce you, Andy is our partner. He's our global transformation guide and leader and master trainer. And he's our partner also in Germany and various countries in Europe.
Yeah, Jody, and thanks for sharing your insights about the experience of combining the navigation approach and the alignment activities with the Aviad Goes AI coach work. My question is about discipline. How do you experience, maybe starting with yourself, but also with your leadership team and the experience you have seen so far, the topic of discipline about constantly using that potential and opportunity having with such a tool? So you're frozen. So
you were frozen, Jody.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I am at my house and I don't know what it keeps showing up. The internet is unstable. I apologize for that. What I was saying is that I can't really force anybody to use the AI, but what we do have is like twice a month we have a navigation meeting. And then I think that just having that meeting on the calendar and reviewing like what we're doing is it makes people like, oh, yeah, I should use the AI. Oh, I should do this. I think some people are just more naturally inclined to like, they want to get the outcome that they want on the first try, not like wait, a quarter to get to that, right? That optimal outcome. And so I think those are the people who are more using the AI, the people who honestly are like the fast movers who are really going to make things happen and who care like I think some people who are maybe not using the AI, they don't care so much about just like stepping on a bunch of people, but that's like where you have to kind of like go through like the navigation meetings and get everybody back on like, hey, we're all going in the same direction.
Mm.
So everyone has their own personality, and it's definitely you know, it's a challenge sometimes with some people.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I can just say something about this, Andy, I don't know if discipline here can work at all because you are actually speaking about developing a habit. And usually you need discipline to create a habit, and then the habit takes care of it because you already are doing it. So I think, like everything that we always knew, there are early adapters, mid-level adapters, very late adapters, and this is very difficult to change because it's human nature. The only thing what will happen is that the early adapters will accelerate very fast, and we see the mid-level adapters will come a bit later, and the late adapters will stay way, way behind. So I think what will happen, not just in an organization, I think throughout humanity, you'll have this growing, unfortunately, gap of where people are. And I read a lot of articles recently. It's very clear that the ability to use AI well and responsibly will be the number one skill that will differentiate people and organizations that move fast and those who don't. And again, whether we like it or not, but there will be this stretch and gap created in a fast accelerating situation.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any questions? Please. Okay. Okay, so a few closing statements from our panel before we say goodbye.
Maybe Mark will start.
Maybe Mark will start this time, yes.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you very much. It's really inspiring. I totally agree with what was said. We are changing the world, and the beautiful part is that we are making world a better place because people like Jody can afford working with somebody like Aviad. But I think about all those young companies that cannot afford to do it, and suddenly they can have like one session, one Zoom call, 1 hour Zoom call with Aviad, and maybe then continue with AI and then keeping the parallel coaching. One of the reasons why we were so excited to do it with news navigation is because Aviad, I think I'm sorry to disclose your age, Aviad, maybe 40 years you are in business, and like out of it, 25 years, you create systems that will allow you to coach like 1,000 coaches. So you said something beautiful. So it's like a ripple effect. So this beautiful idea is not just replicating or creating an AI version of Aviad, but actually it helps to create a lot of coaches that can use Aviad Go's AI together with their own physical coaching and provide amazing parallel coaching or parallel intelligence coaching. So I think we're just at the start. And Jody, for you, I just can say that you totally redefined the idea of early adopters. Because who would say that 40 years old company will be an early adopter for the most innovative and advanced AI technology and methodology? So thank you very much for them. And of course, Sarah, thank you for arranging it because I think that all the participants, I hope they will be so fired up, so excited and jealous like me that they will take it to their organizations or maybe to the organizations that are coaching. Just unbelievable. So thank you very much for organizing it and inviting me.
Thank you, Mark. Jody, please.
So I want to say thank you to News Navigation for having me, and thanks to Mark for working with Aviad to create Aviad Goes AI, because I really think that you can move so much faster and you can become so much better by having this parallel path. And I really want every person who works for us, like every single team member, to be the best version of himself or herself that person can be. And I don't mean just in a professional manner. I mean also just like within their personal life. And I think that you can use the coaching for everything. It doesn't have to be just a discussion about like, oh, I need to talk to my supervisor, my subordinate, or whatever. I mean, you can be like, oh, I've got to bring up this horrible topic with my husband. How do I do it? Or I need to talk to my kids about something. And if you at least think through it first, I mean, of course, everyone thinks through it, but you get some feedback on your thinking through, then it just makes everything so much better. And I think we can just all be kinder to each other.
Thank you.
Thank you. Amazing.
Aviad.
So, in the last few months, I used the word excited more than I ever used it in my life, because usually it's overused in some cultures. But I'm really excited. I feel that we are moving into a complete new era. We are already in it. Since I was young, I was always into exploring new ways of thinking or alternative approaches or how to impact humanity for the better, whether they want it or not. And this is like, wow, something is happening and we are in the middle of happening. And yes, there are terrible things in the world, but this combination of human AI acceleration is very exciting. I think that we can solve so many problems. We can improve the lives and work of so many people. And as Mark said, we even democratize it, because before it was not possible for most people to get high-level consulting, high-level coaching. It was not. And now, for a fraction of a price, really, millions can be exposed to, and I'm not just talking about my eye, but to wisdom, to knowledge, to experience, which were not before. So like when the creation of print, Gutenberg allowed books to start to be, proliferate and there were more and more books printed, which before were written by hand. I think it's quite similar. If I can compare, I think people who will use this well will fly. The knowledge will fly. Wisdom will fly. And I really hope that we can create a better humanity, better organizations, and do it fast because it's needed, and enjoy both worlds, both human wisdom and experience and AI scale and speed, because we humans are slow to change. And if something can help us do it to the better, faster and shorter, I'm all in.
Thank you, Aviad. Wow, so inspiring. As always, if I might add, but thank you so much. So, well, time flies when you're having fun. We are close to concluding this amazing session. And I have no words, actually, and it's not so easy to bring me to a point where I have no words. But we would be delighted to stay in touch with you and support your journey, whether in parallel or in AI, but to really help you accelerate you and your organization. So if you would like to explore those tools, if you would like to bring it to your organization, to your clients or whatever, please stay in touch. We will, of course, be in touch. And I want again to thank Jody, Mark, and Aviad for these amazing, amazing sessions, insights, and to thank you all for joining us. And we are really looking forward to our next session, which will be somewhere in May.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me. Have a great rest of the week, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you all.
Thank you.
So good to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Be
you.
well.
Thank you, everyone.